Hey honey wash day Midgard. My name is Michelle from Thor Wants Another Letter, and today I'm going to be giving you my IndigAthon TBR. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe I'm even saying this. I'm baffled. IndigAthon is a readathon created by me and Brody, hosted by the both of us, and I will link their channel down below and their info, and you can follow them. You can also follow the IndigAthon Twitter and our Instagram, and hashtag us at IndigAthon, and let us know how your stuff is going. Let us know how your reading's going. Let us know what you're watching for the month and what you plan on doing. Maybe if you plan on creating some dishes, you know, do whatever you let us know. I'm gonna show you my TBR. I'm super excited. I have exceeded expectations from the library. I'm pretty sure that I checked out almost every single Indigenous book that is at my KOLE library. As for my the NSU Williams library, I have only checked out 2 because the other ones, it's all nonfiction. Depending on if I have time in the month, I might read more nonfictions, but I have two or three here. So let's dive in. So the first book that we are going to be doing is we are reading The Break by Katharina Vermette for the group book. And this is the story about a woman who sees something going on outside of her house on this piece of land. And so she calls the cops. And while this is all happening, there's like 12 different perspectives on different things that are happening around the area, where people are in their lives, how things are going, and I think it's going to be very, very interesting. And Brody and I picked this out, I think like a month or so ago, and I ordered it, and it took like 2 weeks to come in. So I'm really glad that it made it in time, and I wanted to make sure I had all my books together before I showed you anything. And so I hope that y'all will be reading this together with us. We cannot wait. The live show is yet to be announced, so definitely keep your eye out for that. I've never done a live show, so we'll see what happens. The second book that I'm going to be talking about is Black Indian by Shauna Buchanan, and this was nicely sent to me by a WSU Press. So thank you for that. And also big thank you to Shonda Buchanan. It is a memoir about her life and what being Black and Native American how that has played a role in her life. And I'm really interested to read this because there's also pictures, like in some of the chapter inserts, there are pictures of her sister, and I am so interested. I've read the first couple of chapters, but I wanted to save it for the rest of IndigAthon, and her writing is so descriptive, and I just read this and I feel some of these things in my heart, and I cannot wait to finish. The third book that I'm going to be talking about is Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse. Anyway, Trail of Lightning is the story about how climate change has completely turned on its head in this society, and the girl is Navajo, and this takes place on the reservation, and I'm so excited to read this. I am not one for science fiction, much less climate fiction, since the apocalypse and the end of the world is pretty much my biggest, giganticest fear. The fourth book that I'm going to read, and I totally did not expect this after reading the synopsis, but this is Fire Song by Adam Garnett Jones, and this is a story about a boy who is coming to terms with his sister's death, Destiny, and Destiny committed suicide, and his mom can't take it, and he's just kind of realizing that his thoughts of going to college are leaving. He's trying to deal with the emotions that he's feeling for his friend Daniel or David, and the fact that they have to keep their relationship secret because it's the reservation where it gets around so fast. And this, I know this is definitely going to hit my heart really hard, like close to home. I myself am bisexual, and I have a cousin who is trans, and her transition on the reservation has been kind of rough, and so I know this is going to hit close to home because it's going to make me think of all the things. And also the suicide part, considering the fact that there are things that happen on the reservation that are really tragic, like the suicide rates. I had a relative that was dealing with that, and that was dealing with different thoughts, and I don't know what the hell I would do if she was taken from the world so fast. And I really hope that I can get some perspective from this book, and I can't wait. I'm here for it. And all of these authors, I believe, are all Indigenous. There might be one that's not, but I checked before I checked them out, so we will see. The next book I have to talk about is In the Footsteps of Crazy Horse by Joseph Marshall III. I said John like 3 times, so. This is a story about Jimmy McLean, who is a Lakota, and he is dealing with his own identity. His mom is Lakota, and his dad is half Lakota, half white, and so he sees himself as half Lakota, half white, and like, what do I do? And so he goes, for the summer, he goes on this road trip with his grandpa, and his grandpa tells him about the stories of Crazy Horse, and he kind of learns more about Crazy Horse. He learns things about himself, his people, and this is so amazing because myself, I am Lakota, and I have ancestral ties to Crazy Horse. So if you ever come to South Dakota, go to Crazy Horse Memorial. Don't go to Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore sucks compared to Crazy Horse. It is a family-run operation by the Jalkowski family. If you read up on it, it's really interesting. The 5th book that we have is Becoming TwoSpirit by Brian Joseph Gilly, and this is a nonfiction, and this is about a two-spirit man talking about his sexuality and what it means to be a gay Indian. And like, are there any gay Indians in the world? Yes, there are. I myself am bisexual, like I said earlier, and so I'm really excited to read this. I think I read like 2 pages of this a couple days ago. The next book that we have is a children's nonfiction, and this is Woman Who Dared, 52 Stories of Fearless Daredevils, Adventurers, and Rebels, written by Linda Skeers and illustrated by Livy Gosling. And this has quite a few Indigenous portions in it. So this one is Minnie Spotted Wolf. This is a story about the first Marine, and she's Native American, and we are all for it. We have the picture of a woman, and then we have her name, Minnie Spotted Wolf, and then Marvelous Marine, and then it's just a excerpt about it. And there are a lot of different women in here, and I just think that it's so amazing, and I cannot wait to read this. It's only like 100 and some pages, so yeah, I get to learn a lot this month. Next book that we're going to be talking about is Code Talker by Joseph Bruchac. So this is a novel about the Navajo Marines in World War II, and I think I read this in middle school, but I don't really remember reading it. My mom's read it. I think I owned it, but I don't know what happened to it. This is about a 16-year-old boy he's recruited to the Marine Corps, and I think personally the story of Code Talkers and how Navajo was being incorporated to hide their messages from the Germans, I think is just mind-boggling. Residential schools trying to reject that part of us as Native Americans versus it saving literal lives by our native language being spoken during wartime. I cannot wait to read this. I'm so proud to be Native American because of the struggles that our people have gone through, and also the things that our people have done that have saved literal lives. The other book that I have to talk about is Heartbeat Braves by Pamela Sanderson, and this is a romance, and this is about these 2 people that meet at a Indian Health Medical Center, and one of them is kind of like struggling with who he is as a Native American, like the difference between like a reservation native and a urban native, and what that means and how that feels. And you know, you feel out of place, you feel like you don't fit in, like you don't belong. And then but he meets Rayanne and she feels really good about it, and they meet. And the person, so funny story, I bought this, it came in the mail, and it has been annotated and doodled in, and this person did not like this book. There are underlines, and here's the thing, I'm not looking for like Pulitzer Prize winning writing. I just want to read a cute book about two natives falling in love and wanting to be together. When do we ever see natives being represented in the romance genre? Maybe I can recommend this to read with Cindy and she can read it and we'll see what happens. Then we have like a bunch of picture books. So we have The Girl Who Helped Thunder and Other Native American Folktales, retold by James Bruchac and Joseph Bruchac, PhD, illustrated by Stefano Vitale. And look at that. There's a snake and I'm scared already. So this apparently has only been checked out twice. Once by somebody else and once by me. There's different, the stories are like this, and there's illustrations, and it talks about where the story comes from. So this is a Cherokee one. That's the medicine wheel, I think. Seminole, Lakota, how the buffalo came to be. Ooh, page 38, that's important. I'm gonna knock my Goodreads reading goal out of the freaking park. The next book that we have to talk about is Quiet Hero, the Ira Hayes story, and this is by S.D. Nelson. And there's just some beautiful illustration. Like, look at this. Ira Hamilton Hayes was born on January 12, 1923 on the Gila River Indian Reservation in Sacaton, Arizona. His people were known as Pima Indians, which I think I've heard of them. I used to have, I'm so sad, I used to have this book that had different Native American tribes in it, and it was like a huge map spanning. I don't know what happened to it. I'm so sad if I lost it. And then it also talks about the residential schools, and this, like, look at this. I'm floored. And then we have actual pictures. There's a picture of Ira Hayes. There's a picture of residential schools. We have the flag raising on Mount Suribachi. Ira Hayes is on the left side, I think, right here. And then we have Iwo Jima, Marines approaching Iwo Jima. And there's, you know, there's different pictures, and I just think it's eye-opening. We really need to learn more about Indigenous history, whether it's the Indigenous schools, you know, in war, all kinds of stories. Then I'm looking forward to this one. I saw this at the library a couple months ago, and then I also saw in Reading IDs TBR, or like they did a thing. I'll link that one down below so you can see more children's picture books. But this is called Wow Powwow by Brenda J. Child. This is about a girl who has a dream. I believe she has a dream about a powwow, and it's bilingual. It's from, I believe it's an Ojibwe. Yes, it's an Ojibwe translation, I believe. I'm not sure if that's the exact language, but she is an Ojibwe writer. And the illustrations are really cute, and it talks about the powwow, and like they're all dogs. What this is right here, this is called Grand Entry. This is the beginning of the powwow, and they make the round with the flag and POW MIA, different, these are like different flags from different tribes, and this is a really important part of the the beginning of a powwow. And then she talks about the drummers. I can't wait to read it. This is called Annie and the Old One by Miska Miles. And I believe this one is... Yeah, okay. So the Horn Book magazine said this is a poignant, understated story of a very real child set in against a background of Navajo tradition and contemporary Indian life. And so I've read it a couple times. I read it to Soren, but the illustrations are very monochrome, where they're like yellow, and I believe red is incorporated as the... Next book we have is Crazy Horse's Vision by Joseph Bruchac and illustrated by S.D. Nelson. Well, what do you know? Oh, wow. That's intense. So this is definitely... This is about Crazy Horse. I think this is really going to make me sad. All we wanted was peace and to live on our land, and then it got all fucked up. And the last book that I have to talk about is Walking on Earth and Touching the Sky, Poetry and Prose by Lakota Youth at Red Cloud Indian School. And if I... Oh, yeah. Okay. It happened. Edited by Timothy P. McLaughlin. Paintings by S.D. Nelson. Ooh. With a foreword by Joseph M. Marshall III. I think we're feeling a theme here. Like... Think about how many books that I'm reading by S.D. Nelson, Joseph Bruchac, and Joseph Marshall the third. Just, like, so many. That tells you. I think I found a new favorite. So, this has some amazing, amazing paintings. Look at that. And these poems are by, but these are actually poems by Native American students. Haiku. Nature is pretty and beautiful comes out fast. It blooms without fear. By Dustin Starr comes out. Let's see how many books I have. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a lot of these I'm going to read to my son as well. And I have until the 8th on some of these, but I'm definitely renewing them because... Duh. And then we have, I lost count, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh wait, the last book I have, the last book that I'm going to be talking about is none other than Apple in the Middle by Don E. Quigley. I'm rereading this. The recipe that I think I'm going to try and make a video for. Dr. Don E. Quigley is a really great author. I absolutely love this book. Apple in the Middle is a story about a girl who has no idea who she really is. She doesn't know anything about herself. Her name's Apple, and one day she's called a prairie N-word at school, and she has no idea what that means, and she's so confused. She tries asking her dad about it, but he doesn't say anything. But her dad is white. Her mother passed away when she was a baby, and so she has no understanding of her people or who she is or where she comes from, her family. And so all of that changes that same summer, and she is sent off to her grandparents for the summer, and she learns about who she is, about who her mom was. And this story is so good. I'm trying to read 16 books this month. We'll see what happens. I really do want to finish all of these. Like, I have an entire month, and I'm going to treat it as, like, we're gonna hunker down. And I also have another book to read for Penguin Teen, but that is in a completely different... I'm so excited to be reading these for the month, and I hope that you join us. I hope that you'll join in the Indigathon, in the readathon. And, yo, somebody said that we were inspiring today, and I'm like, me inspiring? What? Are you really? So I'm hoping that I can make fry bread, which we will see how that goes, because your girl is not that great at it. So there's definitely going to, I'm going to be doing a vlog for sure. I hope that my mom can be in some of the videos. Also, I got her to read Tommy Orange's They're There. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Let me know what you guys are reading for Indigathon. Let me know if you're not participating in the reading part, but you're going to watch something. So let me know what you're going to watch. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Bye.